Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and boy do we have a show today. I could probably do 3 shows today, but I'm going to try to pack it in 2. But first let's get going. Link to my sponsor who sells Ripple Private Equity, whose link's in the top of the description. You might want to pay attention to that. Link to portfolio company Ripple partners with the Central Bank of Colombia to explore blockchain technology use cases. To learn more about or to invest in Ripple, visit our website or go in the link of the Digital Asset Investor's description, folks, top of the description. We're excited to announce that Peersight and Ripple will start working with the Central Bank of Colombia through our partnership with Ministerio TIC. The objective, evaluate potential efficiencies of solution using Ripple CBDC platform. Then Anthony Welfare, who is with Ripple, and he works on these CBDCs. What's his official title? Advisor, CBDC advisor at Ripple. He retweeted it with this quote: the XRP Ledger CBDC platform also serves as the basis for similar pilot projects in Hong Kong, Bhutan, Palau, and Montenegro. How about them apples, folks? I'm a Ripple shareholder for a reason. Now, last night, the official cool guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel, who has stepped out and started his own Troomers Twitter Live Spaces. This is his 3rd episode that he did. He had Nino Rodriguez, who's is he a UFC fighter or one of those fighters? I actually got to ask him a question about that. But here's an interesting clip from his podcast. I was in there and got on there and talked a little bit.
Seeing the XRP, so a lot of these major financial institutions that want to build this into their back end, they have to hold a reserve. So they've been going through this integration process for many years, right? And then if they wanted to take it live, they have to pick up and hold a certain amount of XRP like as a reserve, a percentage of what they move. So if you look at, they say that, XRP is going down, this, that. But if you look at the back end banking records, all of the major banking institutions are building this into their back end. And so if you think about like financial collapse, the money is sketchy, where do you go, right? You could buy gold or silver, right? And that would have value, but like, how do you transact with that on a day-to-day basis, right? Honestly. If you go to the grocery store, like breaking off a piece of a weight of gold is going to be difficult. So XRP is the way to go. It's the easiest, quickest.
I think he makes I won't play the rest of it. You can go and watch it in my thread, but I think that he makes a good point. If you remember, I used to play it was almost like a commercial that Bloomberg had put out, where they talk about how gold would obviously play a part in a new financial system, but that gold had a transportability problem. And I've always felt like that was part of the reason that blockchain was created, is so that you could put assets like that on ledgers like XRP to be able to prove your ownership. And that way you don't have to try to transport it all the time. You can send the digital asset and it's on the blockchain, and you don't have to be able to, you've got proof that you own it, okay? That is what I've always felt like was the game plan. Now, this Prometheum thing is blowing up. First we had ETHgate, then we had FTX, and now we have Prometheum. I believe in every one of those instances, you had regulators who were working behind the scenes with certain players in crypto to kind of use them as their, puppets, the best word, to send them out and they're literally on your team. And I believe that that's what ETHgate was. That's what FTX was. Now, don't get me wrong. It's also about greed and money. But I believe that's what those things were about. Well, this Prometheum guy has hit the news because if you really look at it, Congress saw this guy coming. And the disturbing part is the ties to China, because you had the same ties with ETHgate and I think FTX as well. You remember the articles going around about Sam Bankman-Fried bribing Chinese officials? Well, I always wondered, if that was a ruse and that it was actually the other way around, or there was all kinds of things going on with China. I'm sure some of those things will pop up. But someone sent me this yesterday, and it's obvious, but this is how these people do business. I've always told you words mean things. Well, Prometheum means something. And as I got an email yesterday, they said, I think that it means promote Ethereum. I think it's literally like making fun of all of us. Promote Ethereum. They probably thought of it in a bar, but we'll talk more about bars here in a minute. So anyway, promote Ethereum is what I call it. From this day forward, we don't call it Prometheum. We call it promote Ethereum. So if I reference the CEO, I'll say the promote Ethereum CEO. Now, here is the promote Ethereum CEO talking about how he would curse Ripple in a bar.
What is your take on the Ripple lawsuit with the SEC? I can probably guess the direction you're going to land on this one, Aaron, but what's your take on it?
If I said it from a legal perspective, I would say the precedents established in the library case with LBC are probably dispositive here because...
First, in the library case, one of the things that he's trying to promote that's not true, the library case was really a case of the SEC overpowering a small player to try to get a judgment. They did get a judgment that was kind of in the SEC's favor. However, the judge in that case did not rule on it, but said in that case, basically to get it on the record, to the SEC attorneys and to the library attorneys, wait a minute, because John Deaton, if you remember, John Deaton came in and somehow got in the court, and I don't remember how all that worked, but John Deaton was the one that went in and got the judge to say, wait a minute, guys, we all agree here that the library token in the secondary market is not a security. Like the judge was saying that like it was obvious, and actually got the SEC attorneys to agree right there on the spot with everybody. Yeah, that's right. The library tokens in the secondary market are not securities, and it got them to acknowledge that. So that's the first thing that's disingenuous about this. But here, listen to what he says at the end, because the guy asked him what do you think about the Ripple case?
What would you say if I were to ask you after a few cocktails in a bar?
I'd say I think the government has a very strong position. I'd probably say with a curse or two.
You'd probably say with?
I'd add a curse or two if we were in a bar.
You can do that here on YouTube.
This guy, but you don't have to take it from me. Here he is talking about how he's an Ethereum guy. We found it.
Comical when you see people like when you saw Elon Musk discussing how Bitcoin is bad for the environment. Like, what a farce. And I'm not a Bitcoin guy. I'm not. I'm a smart contract enabled blockchain network guy. So it's just sort of comical.
I'm an Ethereum maximalist, man. I'm not even...
Exactly, me too.
I don't even feel ashamed to say it anymore.
Make no mistake, folks. This is a war, and that guy is a freaking soldier that's been sent.
First of all, you should not be. I honestly think what you're going to see is that Bitcoin, in theory, could be a store of value like gold, right? But people don't buy stuff with gold. It's not like I go to my pizza place and I buy pizza with gold, right? That's its own thing, and that's
you wouldn't even do it back in the gold standard days.
No, it's nonsense. But the other thing is when you look at Ethereum and its progeny, right? That's where I think the real innovation will occur. I think that the development of smart contract enabled blockchains and parachain networks and really layer 2 technology and the like is where all the innovation and the special sauce is going to happen.
All right. Well, here he is again on Fox Business. This is right when the FTX thing broke. And I wrote here, FTX, who was planning with the SEC, CFTC, White House, Congress, goes down. It is then used against all the non-fraudulent crypto to paint a picture of all of it being bad. The Prometheum CEO, right in the midst of it, does a put me in, Coach Gensler. And then Digital Perspectives makes a really good point. This guy may just be the new Sam Bankman-Fried SEC Trojan horse. Is that what this is? Is that what Promote Ethereum CEO is? Is this a Trojan horse? Listen to this.
So what do you think regulators will do to try to avoid another FTX?
Implement the federal securities laws. They've always applied. It's a question of the SEC continuing with its enforcement actions. Again, the federal securities laws are meant to protect the investment public. They ensure the segregation of customer funds and assets from that of the institution, such that an event like FTX hopefully could be avoided. What happened with FTX and Alameda. By operating sort of offshore or in more lax regulatory jurisdictions, I think a lot of these virtual currency exchanges took advantage of.
Okay, you get the point. But now I want to show you this, because crypto communism, that's the term, folks. I want you to watch. This is shocking to me. And for that reason, I'm going to, even if I make this video a little longer, I want you to see this and prepare to be uncomfortable, because but these congressmen knew when this guy came, they knew about the China links. They already knew. Listen.
He's recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to quote from an article in the Wall Street Journal last week entitled "Crypto Communism Has a New Meaning. China seeks to infiltrate the U.S. financial system, and SEC and FINRA seem oblivious." And in this article, it talks about Prometheum as an American company, but according to SEC filings, is a strategic partner and joint venture with Shanghai Wanshan Blockchain Incorporated and its affiliate Hashkey. The former company is a spin-off of Wanshan Group, which has deep ties to the Chinese Communist Party. Wanshan Group was founded in 1969, and the founder passed recently. An official press release commented that the comrade always listened to the party and followed the party. That group is now led by that gentleman's son, Lu Wangding, and the press release is almost identical by saying that he will carry forward the practice of the deceased founder and always listen to the party and follow the party. I can tell you from being on the Chinese Select Committee, that is a chilling statement when we have an American company that's in bed with the Chinese. Mr. Kaplan, what percentage of your company is owned by a Chinese entity?
I think approximately 20%.
20% of it. How much influence do they have over your company?
They have the same rights as other shareholders.
How much access do they have to intellectual property?
Wang Zheng has no access to any Prometheum code or technology or system, server, or customer data.
If they're on the board of directors and have access to all your data from the standpoint of being an investor, how do you answer that question like that?
The bylaws were changed in the filing that was filed with the SEC on November 2021, and they basically limit who has access to data, including directors.
Okay, where's the data stored right now?
In the United States.
Okay, now I want you to see, you just got to see it all.
Okay, your headquarters is here, your data is stored. It's not stored anywhere in China.
Not at all, sir.
Okay, you had a designation as a digital asset security broker dealer, and as such, you have a lot of person identifiable information on your clients, do you not?
Correct.
Okay, does any of that information or any of the technology does the Chinese have any access to that at all at this point?
Absolutely not, sir. I want to point out Prometheum is an American-born, bred, and controlled company. And basically no foreign influence or control over Prometheum is had to any of its systems, its code, its servers, or its customers' data.
Well, I'm glad you could read that, but that doesn't impress me because I sit on a committee, and I can tell you any company that is either owned by or are involved with the Chinese Communist Party and or government is influenced by them. That's the only way they operate. And so what safeguards have you got in place to make sure they don't get anything that's in your company?
Sir, we both had a CFIUS inquiry and an SEC investigation where we were required to give all communication.
Didn't Clayton and Hinman, weren't they part of the push at the SEC to keep Chinese companies from being too scrutinized? Seems like they
benefit to the Chinese then involve themselves in your company. If they can't access it, if they can't access information, they can't access your technology, what's the benefit of them investing in your company?
the belief in the business idea that digital assets are securities and need to be properly regulated as such and traded on intermediate.
So China believes that they're securities, and in other words, China believes the SEC needs to crack down on crypto in the United States while it rises in China.
Areas that are properly registered under the securities laws.
Do you think that perhaps they're getting some information just by being around your business that could be helpful to them?
I do not believe so, sir.
Why did you take them on as a partner? Why can't you have an American partner instead of a Chinese partner? What's the benefit of having a Chinese partner in this business?
As anyone who's started a startup knows, when you are young and small as an entity and a large established entity seeks to have a relationship with you, you look for the opportunity. If there had been an American opportunity, we probably would have taken it.
Probably.
It's troubling because, you see, this is exactly how the Chinese work their way into our various companies in this country. They see an opening because there's a
They seem to know how to work their way into the presidency of the United States too.
There for the company to grow, for money, for expertise, for technology, and they're standing there with their hands out, being willing to add that to the portfolio or give to whatever you want to do here. And as a result, then they've got their hands on you. It's very disturbing to see that that's...
Let me tell you what's disturbing. Right now you got a president that's being looked at for being bribed by the Chinese while he orders Operation Choke Point 2.0, which the SEC is carrying out against crypto in the United States, while this guy is in front of Congress defending Gary Gensler. Luckily, these congressmen are on to it.
What's going on here? So
while China is beefing up their crypto industry now.
I'm just worried that this is a situation, and here we have the SEC getting you one of the first digital asset security broker-dealers license. It's where's the SEC on this? I'm wondering. But anyway, I see my time is getting short.
Oh, I think we all know where the SEC is on this. Luckily, we've got our own set of sleuths in this, folks, because look at what Stefan Huber, Mr. Huber, that is, says. Watch this. Holy S word, as my 10-year-old would say. Alibaba teamed up with Ethereum supporter Wang Zhang. That's the company that owns 20% of the Promote Ethereum CEO's company, okay? Wang Zhang, back in 2014, when Bill Hinman was preparing Alibaba's IPO, and it gets even better, Andrew Keyes described how Alibaba and Ant Financial use Ethereum and Consensus technology on the Consensus website. Remember, Andrew Keyes is the guy who, he and Joseph Lubin were the Brooklyn Project, which talked to Charles Gasparino about how the SEC and the CFTC were working with the Brooklyn Project to create an SRO, self-regulatory organization. That's what became the Ethereum Free Pass. Here it is. Alibaba, Wang Zhang. This is the company that the Promote Ethereum CEO, they own 20% of his company. Alibaba, Wang Zhang, Fosun, Junior, whatever. Partnerships hope to set up private banks, secure times. The Alibaba Small and Micro Financial Services Group and partner Wang Zhang Group, China's largest auto parts company, are drawing up revised plan to set up a bank targeting small customers. The Shenzhen-based newspaper said, citing material related to the planned person close to Alibaba Group. Here's the Alibaba Group. There's Lei Ming Chen, William Hinman, Jay Clayton doing the IPO. One blog post in particular from Consensus head of global business development, Andrew Keyes, gave some insight into the rapid rate of Chinese adoption. Highlights of the post, titled Ethereum Growing Exponentially in China, include experimenting with Ethereum technology by Ant Financial, Alibaba's $60 billion financial arm, to improve their global payments platform. Ant Financial runs Alipay, Ant Fortune, Ant Financial Cloud, and other financial services. Ant's Financial's invested companies, affiliates also work with these businesses. Services provided by Ant Financial and its affiliates cover payment, wealth, See it? And then this is an old flashback. Folks, I think I may have it. Challenge my timeline. Obama, Alibaba was investigated for irregularities by the SEC. Then Trump wins election. Jay Clayton, former Alibaba advisor, becomes SEC chair. Alibaba files merger request with SEC to buy MoneyGram. What did Ripple lose in the Ripple lawsuit? The MoneyGram deal. And then the block, everybody's catching wind of this now, folks. And I'm going to kind of stop here, but the Blockchain Association has requested records connected to the crypto startup Promote Ethereum from the SEC after the CEO's testimony before Congress triggered scrutiny of the company. There's so much more, folks, and I've got it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that everything leads back to China, and everybody involved seems to want to promote Ethereum, and they hate Ripple. Thanks for listening.